Okay, we are joined here today at the Guitar Player offices by Anna Popovic, who is in town touring her cool new record, Unconditional. And so I guess my first question to you would be, not much of a wardrobe budget for this album, is that right?
We have to cut on that.
Okay, and so for our readers who might not be totally familiar with you, why don't you give us a little bit of background here? How did you get into music? How'd you get your start? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I started listening to blues when I was probably 2-3 years old. Probably before a lot of Americans did, you know, in this business. And I started listening to blues back in Serbia, Belgrade. My dad has a huge collection of blues records, and this is the only thing we had at home. So I grew up listening to, you know, Howlin' Wolf and Elmore James and Booker White and Robert Johnson, and later on the guitar players like Albert Collins and Albert King and Stevie Ray Vaughan, obviously, and Ronnie Earl. And, you know, I like all shades of blues because I was so used to that. From Delta stuff all the way to fusion blues, and you know, people like Ronnie Earl, T-Bone Walker got me to study actually jazz and get out of the blues. But when I was a kid, it was just a normal thing for us, and my dad would get us around the guitar and he would encourage us to sing, and the things we were singing about were really, we didn't understand what we were singing about, you know. We would just sing Howlin' Wolf, and I thought that was really cool. When I was about 9, I really wanted to sound like him. Coco Taylor, Howlin' Wolf, Brownie McGee, Sonny Terry, all these people were just a very natural music to us. We never listened to Serbian music, and I never wrote a song in my language so far. Never say never, but you know, this is just, you know, and the first time I started playing in the States was just like homecoming, really.
Okay, and so you say it was normal and natural for you given your upbringing, but it's not normal or natural for young kids no matter what country they're living in. So at that time, what sort of music were your friends listening to, and did they think it was at all strange that you were listening to Howlin' Wolf and Buddy Guy? And
you know, I was never insisting on this music, and I really wasn't. By the time I started having parties, and parties in my place were always that music, you know. And my father is a great DJ, so he would put on, you know, all these great records, Stevie Ray Vaughan and all this, you know, Hendrix, and our sound system would just sound so awesome that all the people that were in, including the aunts and grandmas and you name it, they were all digging it because it just sounded right. It was on the right place. It sounded right. It was a good party, you know. So, and then when I would go see my friends, obviously they would listen to something else. But somehow from the beginning, I learned to divide my world, which is blues. And nowadays, of course, I'm a touring musician, and I do it still. This is blues and my music that I like, and not necessarily music that other people need to listen to. I was never, you know, the one who would call all my friends to come in a club so that in order that I have more audience, you know, like come over here, listen to me tonight because we got a first gig and we need people. That was never my thing. You know, I was always playing. If there are people, that's good. And luckily, there were always people listening to blues ever since I had my first show. But somehow my friends and my private life is completely different from my life on the road and listening to my music that's only mine. And you know, people who really understand it and want to be blues, they can be blues, but you cannot really force it to anybody. And it's sad if people don't get it. You know, you shouldn't push it. I think you shouldn't push it with kids, I think, first, and you shouldn't push it with your friends too much. I mean, it's just a very personal thing. It's very sacred. It's mine, and I love it, but not necessarily I have to do it 24 hours a day. You know, wherever I am.